All right, wanted to get some thoughts out about this. Cade Cunningham this season has been extremely impressive, and I really think it's going unnoticed, and it's generally been that way for the entirety of his career. Now, that's warranted because the Detroit Pistons have given us no reason at all to pay attention to them as a franchise. But looking individually at Cade Cunningham as a player, love what he's done so far this season. Very impressive stat line, around 24 points per game, nearly 50% from the floor. But the most impressive thing is the near 40% shooting from 3-point range. Now, your question is, how sustainable is that going to be for the entirety of the season? We've seen certain guys get off to these ridiculous scoring starts, and maybe some guys putting up some numbers that we know good and well they aren't going to put up for the entirety of the season. So maybe this 3-point shooting thing from Cade Cunningham is a fluke, or maybe not. His mechanics on his jumper look great. He looks super comfortable getting to his spots. Just love the way that he comes and approaches the game. Such a poised player, very patient. He is like where De'Aaron Fox was a few years ago with the Kings, where you have this really talented player, a point guard who is so clearly sometime down the road going to be a top 5 player at his position. The eye test says it. Like, I don't know how you can look at Cade Cunningham as a player and not think that maybe 3 or 4 years down the road, this dude could end up being a top 5 guy at that point guard spot. But all while being so great individually, just does not have the team to show for it. And with that does come these questions of, well, how great is he truly if he's putting up these great numbers on bad teams? How good is he going to be when he actually gets into a winning type of situation? So those are the types of questions that kind of come with a situation like what Cade is in right now. But as I said, I love the way that he's been playing. I really love his improvement season in and season out. One thing you cannot say about Cade is that he stayed stagnant progression wise, quite like this team. He has gotten better each and every season. He is adding new things to his game. A lot of that comes with more availability. He did not start off his career as a super available guy, a lot of health issues here and there, but love the gradual progression from him season in and season out. And he's one of those guys right now that's a part of this resurgence of the taller point guard. So we've got guys like him. He's at 6'8". You got guys like LaMelo Ball, 6'7", and guys like Tyrese Halliburton, 6'5". This era of the taller point guard is slowly coming back. But what you're noticing is these taller point guards are extremely skilled offensively and are extremely gifted as scorers. There were some guys that were kind of thrown in the mix over the last couple of years here and there that never really lasted. So perfect example is Michael Carter Williams. He comes in, has an amazing rookie season, but never really establishes much of a jump shot, much of an elite shot creating game. So his game kind of got phased out a bit. Or Ben Simmons, 6'9", never really becomes a truly consistent offensive force, especially as a scorer. Those guys got phased out because a lot of times, while they were taller and while they could see over defenses, they lacked the skill set to be consistent shot creators, so they saw their limitations. This era of the taller point guard that we're seeing now, and there have been different iterations of it over the course of NBA history, but with this era, these guys are extremely good shot creators, right? And perimeter shooters and scorers. Tyrese Halliburton is an amazing 3-point shooter, right? Hasn't been off to the best start this season, but when he gets to his groove, is an amazing shooter from distance, and when he gets hot, is really good at creating his own looks. On top of that, LaMelo Ball, look at the scoring start that he is off to. He has been so dynamic. He's obviously great when he is healthy. And Cade Cunningham, same way. When he is out there being this 6'8" point guard, has a really good pace, really good control of the game, great feel for the game, and also an amazing scoring bag. That's something that has to be paid attention to, is this resurgence of the taller point guard. This time, these guys are coming in with more skill than we've ever seen, right? Like if you look at the course of NBA history, a lot of these taller point guards reach their limitations here and there. Now, a major exception to that would be Penny Hardaway. I think Penny Hardaway was the most skilled taller point guard in NBA history. Just had a complete offensive package. Wasn't an amazing three-point shooter, but again, he played in an era that didn't require you to be an amazing three-point shooter. But generally, those types of players have not been the most advanced shot creators. This era, as I said a million times already, we are seeing these taller point guards be these dynamic shot creators. And I think Cade Cunningham is embodying that the best, right? Like out of any of them, I think Cade Cunningham has embodied that the best. I love, as I said, how he's improved season in and season out. This season, there is more of an emphasis on being a really, really good three-point shooter. Love his efficiency. Again, we will see how sustainable that is. But I think we have kind of underrated Cade a bit, and he's gone a bit underappreciated, not just because the Pistons are bad, because that is a major factor, but something we always see is we have this number one overall pick in 1 year. He has a really good rookie season, but he immediately gets overshadowed by the number one overall pick of the next year. So he was immediately overshadowed almost by the Paolo Banchero hype. And then the year after that, Paolo Banchero is immediately overshadowed by the Victor Wembanyama hype, right? I have to go back and look at the draft order. I'm not sure if Paolo Banchero is right after Cade. I have to go back and take a look at it. But still, one thing we generally see is these younger guys come out of the draft. They're really impressive. Their rookie seasons, and we just kind of throw them away because of the hype of the next draft class. Like I said, I saw that happen with Paolo Banchero. He has this amazing rookie season, almost historic to a certain degree. Then Victor Wembanyama comes, and he is immediately overshadowed. Only what reason that's not going to happen with Victor Wembanyama this year is because his rookie class is not super strong. But best believe something similar is going to happen with Wemby once Cooper Flagg comes into the NBA or once Ace Bailey comes to the NBA. It's just a thing that happens, and I get it, right? But Cade has fell victim to that, where we've forgotten about him a bit, we've thrown him to the side a bit, and we've forgotten just how unique of a player he is and just how unique his skill set is. He's one of few NBA point guards of that size and stature that are as skilled as he is. And again, he's got to put it all together and be able to bring all of it into the playoffs when this Pistons team figures out a way to be competent on the Eastern Conference. But I love what I've seen from him offensively. You love his growth, his commitment to the game. He has been like the most consistent bright spot for this franchise as they're trying to just figure things out. I think they've done a good job at compiling a bunch of young pieces, getting a lot of talented young guys. You got him, you got Jaden Ivey, Ron Holland, who had a really good game tonight against the Lakers, Jalen Duren, as I mentioned, Isaiah Stewart, who's always putting together these really solid moments here and there. They've done a good job at compiling a bunch of young talent. It's just a matter of putting it all together and figuring out what it is they need to do to actually be competent and win games. But as I said, the most consistent bright spot for this team has been Cade Cunningham and how he has consistently improved season in and season out. Again, such a unique player. Don't make the hype of the next draft class or the next great number one overall pick make you forget about how good Cade Cunningham is and just how intriguing of a player that he is at his position. So we'll see if he can stay consistent for one entire 82-game season or however many games he ends up playing this season. But I loved his start, love his consistency early on, love his leadership. His leadership was even evident when they were losing last season, right? And had that historic losing streak. You could even still see it on him, that there was this different energy and that he took things so seriously where a lot of guys would fold. So I love the start Cade's been on. I would love for him to be consistent, but I still do believe there is a lane where Cade Cunningham is in conversations as one of the 3 or 5 best point guards in the NBA. He's got the upside for it. It's just going to be a matter of consistency. It's going to be a matter of this Pistons team putting it all together, but I have a lot of faith that he can ultimately get there at some point in time down the road.